After finishing the last episode of Season 2 of Ascendance of a Bookworm, or episode 26, all I can say is give me that Season 3 as soon as possible. The episode ends with the story continues, but due to the fact that Season 1 and Season 2 are being worked on at the same time, I think it's going to be a little bit of a wait before we get the proper confirmation that another, most likely 2 seasons are going to be coming. They'll probably do something similar, like a 12 and 12 episode or another 14 and 12 episode season, but honestly, I'm fine with the waiting because this show was remarkable. I am blown away by the last 3 episodes of this season, and I know pretty much every Bookworm fan is agreeing that the last 3 episodes are fantastic, but I have said since pretty much the beginning of Season 2, I'm liking Season 2 more, so it's not me just saying, oh, it's because it's going back to something with the Season 1 era, or it's just more exciting. I thought this season was, in general, exhilarating, and I've realized what it was at this point in time. It's Ferdinand. Ferdinand's character and just everything about him and just what he brings to the table in terms of Mine's character development and progression, her regression when it comes to kind of scolding her, and just how he represents something that you don't know what he'll do in terms of the church and just society in general. And with the conclusion of this anime as of right now with Season 2, I love his character all the more. It's something that's so interesting to see someone who clearly is protecting Mine, but also wants to use Mine for her knowledge of another world, but also you're kind of not sure which side to lean on. On one hand, you think he genuinely cares for her. I mean, he gave her a hug. That is so out of character from what we've come to know about him, but also so in character because he clearly has cared for her since pretty much day 1. For other people observing, they might think, oh, he's just trying to use her, but from our point of view, because we get that extra perspective, we get to be that spider on the wall, clearly he cares for her, but we don't know exactly how he cares for her, because this is a society that pretty much can marry young children 100%. So is he going to groom her for a wife? Is he going to groom her as a child? Is he just going to be a friend for her? We don't know. But one thing's for sure, I want to see more of their relationship and how it can blossom. The fact that he drops near the end of the episode, the captain saying, hey, you know, you should adopt her. And that's something that can be taken a couple of ways, but on one hand, it does seem the best route. Because it doesn't seem like this is a bad situation for her. Yeah, she would be adopted and not live with her family, but it would keep her alive and out of harm's way. A powerful backer, someone with wealth and power that could actually protect her, is a good thing, so then the church and things like that can continue to use her, but under the proper guidance of characters like Ferdinand. Ferdinand has had every opportunity to throw her under the bus. He could easily have said she's a horrible person, she's someone who comes from another world, she took over a poor little girl's body. But no, yes, he is saying, hey, we can use her knowledge and really kind of capitalize on this. She has knowledge of a society far more advanced than our own. All she thinks about is books. She is pure, she is innocent, but we can also really help our own society prosper. But of course, he also gets called out that he truly cares for her. And that's what's so interesting about their relationship and is pretty much the reason I want to see more Bookworm. As much as I love seeing the society flourish in terms of bringing in new literature and creations and things like that, as much as I love the general character interactions, that moment towards the end where she starts thanking her family for all the little things that they do, because she feels guilty she couldn't basically thank her first mother. Sounds weird to say, but kind of is true at this point in time. She's had 2 real mothers because of 2 separate lives. It's something that's so sweet, and you love those moments. You love the moments with Lutz just kind of like hugging, apologizing for not being there. There's so many great character moments, but as much as I love those, had we not had Ferdinand in the story, I would be very content saying, you know what, I've seen a lot of Bookworm, I'm content if we don't get more. If we get more, I'll watch more, but I'm not dying to see more. And that's not me saying the characters are boring or the creations is underwhelming. Far from that, it just feels very conclusive and satisfying in a certain sense, but knowing there's still more story to tell. But throw Ferdinand in the mix, and I'm like, give me 10 seasons of this at this point in time. Give me a show just focused on Ferdinand and I'd watch that. I'm not even joking. Give me a spin-off just from his point of view. I'm good with that. It doesn't matter if he becomes the worst villain or the greatest hero in my mind. He is such a complex and intriguing character that I need to see more of him. Take the beginning of the episode as one of my best examples. He could easily have done the ritual himself. He has enough mana to do so. He gets called out in her head by that. But the fact that he made the person who nearly killed our girl or put her in harm's way and basically violated her mentally at the very least, the fact that he made him do it and show how pathetic he is, to then give her the opportunity to just blow them all away, so no one will ever doubt why she was given those blue robes despite not being a noble. It shows just how much he is caring for her and putting her in situations to make sure people won't hurt her, and he feels incredibly guilty. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting like that was his apology. Hey, I put you in a situation to make you look like a badass. We'll make sure no one does that again. But the fact that he was actually legitimately sorry as they were flying back was something I wasn't expecting, but was actually totally in character for him, especially considering that he gave her a hug. And that's just, I love that. I love how you, even after seeing everything we've seen with their relationship, it's still unsure where you don't know where it's going to go. And that's an incredibly fun feeling. A lot of times by the time you wrap up a second season and you're anticipating a third, you have a pretty good understanding of the characters and where they'll probably go. Yeah, they can throw you a curveball every so often and be like, I didn't see that coming, but more or less you know 90% of the time what's going to happen. Here with Ferdinand in mind, I don't, and that's what makes it so exciting and has me drooling for another season. The whole like dream world sequence was something I wasn't expecting, but totally is something I think we had to see before wrapping up season 2. I wasn't expecting it. I probably wouldn't have brought it up had they not done something like this. But the fact that Ferdinand actually went into her mind and we got to see things from his point of view, seeing something that seems so foreign and alien, seeing something like Japan, it looks like a capital for nobles, just way more advanced, and how he's like realizing everything about it's like, oh, this makes total sense. Now seeing where she comes from and her addiction to books totally makes sense, but also I can see so much more potential than I've already seen in her now that I'm not really cautious or fearing of what she could be. Understanding where she is going to turn our country into something spectacular, especially if we capitalize on this, keep her safe, and also let her really kind of flourish and just let her creations come to light. But now that I know why she has this knowledge, now that I know that she was originally an adult in her previous life, we can turn her creations into something that doesn't come out of left field and make her look like someone that needs to be kidnapped and interrogated, but now we can keep her safe and say, hey, we're going to roll out these ideas in a more, you know, probably natural way that's not so like, hey, why is an 8-year-old girl coming up with this? Maybe those ideas can be passed to an adult who can say, oh, do this, and then we'll give it to this adult, to this adult. So it will look a lot more natural rather than just an 8-year-old child or however old she is being like, hey, a computer. And they're like, hold the phone. Books, maybe. Computers? Wait a second, right? So maybe there's a way for this to kind of like roll out in a more natural and elegant way, or maybe it won't happen like that. There's a lot of possibilities, and that's what makes this episode so exhilarating, and honestly, the absolute best conclusion you could ask for with a season 2. It leaves you off wanting more, but if for whatever reason we couldn't get more, it also is satisfying in a strangely fitting way, but needing to see what's going to go on with the adoption angle, because you know it kind of has to happen, or at least that's how it feels like. And that's really exciting. I will never get over the magic in this series though, because there's actually a decent amount of magic. You have magic that can go inside a person's mind to share memories, to understand. I can just imagine interrogations with that device. But then you have magic where you can literally restore the land after a giant tree monster kind of destroys and sucks out the life. Yet it doesn't feel magical despite seeing a lot of magic. They have magic contracts. They have these magical things where you have the devouring and you have to like give up your mana to keep her alive. Yet it doesn't rely on magic to be interesting, and that's a big thing that kept this show so exciting, is that magic is there, magic is ingrained into their world, but you don't see magic when walking down the street. It is a general medieval-like village within the noble society. You start seeing more and more because the general folk aren't going to see these tree-like monsters, these trombe and things like that, right? That's a really smart decision that the author made, and I'm really glad that the anime didn't decide to spice it up by saying, oh, anime fans are only going to like it if they see constant fireballs or monsters that they can attack. No, for the most part, a good majority of this anime, the most magic we saw was like magical contracts, and that was like only happened a couple of times. That's something that honestly made the show stand out, so we could just focus on the characters, be intrigued by the world, but more or less focus on the characters, which most anime focus on the magical and not so much on the characters. And that's why a lot of us roll our eyes, but with Bookworm, we didn't do that because it knows how to write good characters. I think mine definitely flexed how far she's come in terms of blending in with noble society. The fact that she did bring up 2 things that she wanted without stepping on the toes of the Knight's Order. Obviously Ferdinand wanted to have her keep her mouth shut because he recognizes that she is a loose cannon, but I don't think anything she said would anger him because she actually, you know, did something really smart. Hey, fix my damn robes. I'm not gonna get whipped because of this dumbass for basically defiling me. Okay, that makes sense. Send it to the company, which was a very funny moment. And then also, hey, there's one person who he honestly did try. Please go easy on him, and anything else, you can handle your punishments because I don't want to step on your toes. Nothing she said was immature, childish, or just like she didn't think things through. She actually did think it through, which is why Ferdinand probably didn't discipline her or something like that. It just shows like there's growth and development in this show, and the fact that characters like Lutz actually legitimately felt bad for not being able to find her because he saw the vision. There's just so much through the show, it's so great, and rather than blowing you away with super amazing animation or just really cliche tropes, they just give you human reactions, and that's what makes the relationships in general so spectacular. But as always, let me know your thoughts and opinions on the final episode of Ascendance of a Bookworm Season 2, and how excited are you for a Season 3, because I imagine most people are pretty much dying for more, especially with that ending. Do let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like to show your support, and remember to hit that subscribe button if you happen to be around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.